Hello everyone, welcome back. Savage is here, coming back with part or 6? Who cares? Anyway, of what if Deku had word soul magic. And before we get right into it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let's just get right into it. In the last part, we left after Midoriya was about to fight Todoroki, and now we continue. As President Mike said, 3, 2, 1, and now we cut to the hospital. As Midoriya is sitting in the hospital, he finally wakes up. As he looks around saying, huh? Where am I? As he looks to see, well, Mr. Aizawa and Principal Nezu with his mother. As he looks at Mom, as immediately Inko hugs Midoriya dearly, saying, oh my god, I thought that you were gone. Thank God, Izuku. As Izuku said, gone? What are you talking about? As Aizawa said, you were in a coma. You were in this state for quite a while. As Izuku said, a coma? How long have I been in a coma? As Aizawa said, well, a couple of hours. Izuku said, hours? As Principal Nezu said, yes indeed. As Izuku said, but the sport festival, who won my match? Did Todoroki win? As Aizawa said, well, you won. By default. As Izuku said, what does that mean? As immediately Inko just looks down while Principal Nezu said, Miss Inko, can you please give us this moment? As Inko said, but he's my son, As Mr. Aizawa said, please ma'am, I am as his teacher promise you that no harm shall touch him. We just need to talk with him in private. As immediately Inko just said, alright, and said, I'll gonna wait in front of the hospital. Alright, Midoriya? The doctor said that you'll be fine. We can go home now. As Izuku said, okay, as Inko leaves. And now Izuku stand up from his bed, as Mr. Aizawa said, now Midoriya, I just want you to stay calm. As Izuku said, why? What happened? As Principal Nezu said, well, you won the match, but Todoroki... As Izuku said, what's wrong with Todoroki? As Aizawa said, he's in the hospital, in a critical condition. As Izuku said, critical? What do you mean? As Principal Nezu said, after you entered the arena with Todoroki, he got injured real badly. And Izuku said, wait, what are you talking about? As Aizawa said, please just keep it down, Midoriya. Just take a deep breath and let us... As Izuku said, where is Todoroki now? As immediately Aizawa said, I told you, he's in the hospital, but as immediately when Izuku heard that, he just runs out of the door while Aizawa said, Midoriya! As Aizawa tried to cancel his quirk and to capture him with a scarf, but immediately Izuku just starts running. And running while Aizawa said, get back here, Midoriya, don't do it! You don't understand! As Izuku running, he doesn't know where's Todoroki, but he has a trick up his sleeve. As he starts trying to sense the aura of Todoroki, he catches a glimpse of it. As he starts following the signal until he finally gets into room number 144. As Aizawa, right behind of him, said, Midoriya, don't go in there! As Izuku opens the door, and when he opens, he immediately regrets his decision because inside is a bandaged up corpse of that once belonged to Todoroki, tied into many life support machines, skin as black as coal, hair almost all gone from his head, with one missing right arm, and just a horrible state altogether. As when Midoriya looks at this, there were two people right by the side of Todoroki, a woman and a man. A man that tried to comfort the woman that's right now crying and crying, wishing to Shoto to stay alive, which he is, but the situation is horrible. As right now when they recognize the one outside of the room that was just entered. Immediately the girl said, "What are you doing here? Why are you here? Isn't it enough what you did to him? Leave! Leave!" As immediately the guy started grabbing his sister, telling her, "Stop it, Fuyumi. It's not worth it. Please calm down." As she said, "No, I'm not calming down. This devil ruined my brother. My little brother. Leave. You did enough damage already. You demon. Why are you accepted into this hero school? You're a devil." As she just started crying before falling on the ground, saying, "Just leave. Leave." Well, the kid just calming his sister down before looking into Midoriya angrily, saying, "Listen, if I was in your place, I would close that door. Now get out." As Izuku said, as the guy said, "Didn't you hear me? I said get out!" As immediately he stand up and closed the door in front of Midoriya's face, while going back to comfort his sister. As right now Izuku just staring into the door that just closed in his face, in shock, before finally Aizawa catch up to him, as he looks into him saying, "By the look on your face, you entered, didn't you?" As Izuku just steps back and was about to fall, but Aizawa catched him. As Aizawa said, I, as he just helped him to sit down and gave him a glass of water, which he didn't drink. As finally Principal Nezu catch up to both of them, and Aizawa start explaining, saying, "The sport festival, you injured Todoroki very badly. Him right now missing an arm. Many of his bones are right now broken and are beyond repair. And his skin became as fragile as paper. Using his quirk simply will gonna burn him now. And he lost his right arm. He can't use his eyes anymore. He'll live, but I would be lying if I said he'll return to class." As Izuku just started tearing up and crying, saying, "I did this, but I don't remember doing this. Why would I do such a thing?" As Principal Nezu said, "That's what we were trying to tell you. After the match was over, or at least Todoroki was over, Midnight tried to check on you, but you weren't responding. So they took you too. The doctor said that you were sleepwalking." As Izuku said, "Sleepwalking? You're telling me that I did all of this because I was sleepwalking? But I just don't remember. Last thing I remember, I was talking to Ibara about how she forfeit the match for me, and then just nothing. It was so quiet. Like I was in a cold lake, unable to breathe." As Aizawa looks into Midoriya, as after a while of calming him down and a lot of crying, finally Izuku calmed down and he looked into Principal Nezu, saying, "Am I gonna get in trouble for this?" As Principal Nezu said, "Legally, no. We, UA, as the school of UA, we are the one that, well, forced the student to participate in the event that is the sport festival. After all, it was a requirement of all the students of the school. Thus, legally you won't face any judgment. However, we will face that. We take responsibility for all our students, for Todoroki and for you." As he put his hand on Midoriya's leg, while Aizawa said, "However, the sport festival was being broadcast for the whole world. You may not face legal actions, but a lot of people won't let that slide for you so easily." As Izuku just looks down, saying, "Is Todoroki ever gonna heal?" As Aizawa said, "No. He'd be lucky if he'll be able to walk." As Izuku just cries even more, saying, "This is all because of me. Why don't you just kick me out?" As Principal Nezu said, "Because we can't. I can't. I can't let someone with such great potential as you go down so easily." As Izuku said, "Great potential? Look what I did to him!" As Aizawa said, you didn't know what you were doing. As Izuku said, but I still did it. I don't know, it was all dark. It was just all so dark. As Principal Nezu said, how about you go take a rest? Go back home, your mother's still waiting for you. As Izuku said, does my mom know about this? As, well, Principal Nezu said, yes, she does. She was watching the sports festival, wasn't she? As Izuku just gulps his throat, saying, of course. As Aizawa said, we explained the situation to your mother. Don't worry, you won't need to explain anything. As Izuku said, that's not what I'm worried about. I'm worried about Todoroki. His hero career is over before it even began because of me. As Aizawa said, Midoriya, just go take a rest. Don't think about it too hard. I told you, it wasn't your fault. As Izuku said, you're just saying that to make me feel better. And it doesn't help. Anyway, finally, after a while, Izuku started walking back out of the hospital with Aizawa. As they were walking, they walked past Endeavor, which gave a bit of glances to Midoriya. However, he can't really attack a child. That would be very bad for his hero image, that if he even has one to begin with. In the end, Izuku came out of the hospital, seeing his mother waiting in the car. As Izuku just sits in the car and they start driving back home. It was a very quiet drive. Inko trying to lighten up the mood by asking if he want, maybe they should stop by and eat some ice cream or something, which is Midoriya just was quiet the whole time. Absolutely quiet. And when they made their way back into their home, a couple of hours have passed and right now it's nighttime. And when Inko opens the door of Midoriya, he just sees him sitting in absolute darkness, watching the sport festival on the internet, with his whole room just pitch black. As Inko asks him, Dear, do you want some dinner? I prepared your favorite meal. As Izuku just quiet, he's watching the sport festival. Which, in the sport festival, what happened is, when the match started, immediately, Todoroki was about to shoot Midoriya with ice. However, Midoriya speaks up saying, "Bind!" As chains from the ground wraps around Todoroki's body, his arms, his legs, his waist, his chest, and his neck, which Todoroki tried to break them with his ice. However, it just didn't happen. It almost like these binds are, stopping his quirk from working. As immediately with Todoroki just tied up in his place, unable to move, suddenly Midoriya said the next words. As immediately, as if the ground around Todoroki started glowing with, red, a giant beam of fire just cooks him up, and the only thing that can be heard next is Todoroki's bloody screams. As he just screams and screams, and it's seen that these flames are not going off. As before, when they finally go off, then Midoriya starts talking again, saying, as immediately Todoroki just being pushed deep into the floor before Midoriya told him to go away as he slammed into the wall of the stadium. Immediately, Izuku was about to continue talking, but Midnight, using her quirk, knocks him out immediately. As in the end, the recovery girl and the rest of the healing robots run into Todoroki, which he was in a horrible state. His clothes all were burned down and his skin is just charcoal. As Midori just watching this on repeat while sitting on his chair, Inko just told Midoriya that if he wanted food, there be some in the fridge, and closed the door. In the end, after Midoriya watched this clip for about 100 times, he finally closed his computer and started crying. saying, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, but what happened? It was all just so quiet. What did I do? What did I do? What did I do?" As he just crying and crying. And while he's crying, he was finally about to go to sleep because he was just so tired. However, when he was about to go to sleep, he heard a knock on his window. As when Izuku looks into his window, he opens it up to find a little small bird. And Izuku just looks into the bird saying, "A bird?" As the bird just flies inside his room. As Izuku said, What do you want? I'm not in a mood if you didn't notice." As the bird just hides in Midoriya's closet while Izuku said, "You know what? I'll get that bird out tomorrow." As he just closes the window and goes to sleep. The next morning, Izuku goes out of his house without even eating breakfast. Izuku just sees that Midoriya is he didn't even want to go to school today. He's scared. What are everybody gonna think of him? What are his classmates gonna think of him? What is Baku gonna think of him? What is All Might going to think of him? However, after a while, finally, he's piled up a lot of courage to go. As he's walking to the doors of UA, when the students notice him, everybody just stares at him in quiet. Nobody's talking a single word, at least to him. It just glances, stares. A very, very deep stares. He feels as if his heart is about to fall out of his mouth. He's about to puke. But he keeps walking until he made it into the door of his class. As he's just staring into the door and he was about to open it, however, he just doesn't know what to do. Should he open this door? As in the end, finally, after Aizawa saw him standing in front of the door, he said, "Are you gonna enter or what?" As Izuku said, "I just don't know. What are they gonna..." As Aizawa said, "Your classmates will gonna support you, Midoriya. They're your friends, aren't they?" As Izuku said, "I don't know if I have any friends left." As Aizawa said, "Come on. You won't gonna accomplish anything by just standing here." As Aizawa opened the door and everybody finally sees Izuku, as immediately Horaka and Ida were the first to run into him saying, "Midoriya, are you okay?" As Ida said, "What happened last day?" As Izuku said, I just, as Kirishima said, "You and Todoroki, were you fine? They told us you were in a coma." As, immediately Denki said, "We were going to visit you, but Mr. Aizawa told us not to. There was a lot of things going on," in his words. As Izuku just looking down while Aizawa said, "Alright, keep your questions for later. Now we have a class to start. Everybody back in your seats." As everyone goes sitting in their seats, including Midoriya that stares on the empty seat of Todoroki. As right now Aizawa stands in front of the whole class. And Midnight comes too, because reasons that will be explained later. As Aizawa starts talking, saying, "I'm sure you all noticed that Todoroki is not here between us today. If you're wondering, no, he's not late. However, Shota Todoroki will not gonna continue with us the rest of the year." As everybody is shocked, and Ida said, "Mr. Aizawa, why is that? Is Todoroki will gonna return after a week or two?" As Denki said, "Maybe a month?" As Aizawa said, "No, he's never returning. Todoroki's injuries were too severe. We had to let him go out of the hero course. He's still in the hospital in a critical condition. However, he's still alive." As everybody is just shocked by that, saying, "What?" As, well, some of them start looking into Midoriya, one of them being Mineta, some other like Mina, and just staring at him, while immediately Ida said, "Mr. Aizawa, can we visit Todoroki?" As Aizawa said, "No, you can't. It's better for you all not to see his situation. And if anybody of you ever tried to visit him, you'll be expelled. I know this may sound harsh, but believe me, this is for the better of you. This is for the better of everyone, not to see him." However, I made sure to tell him that you all say hello. As after a while, Aizawa said, "However, since we have an empty spot in Class 1A, I had to make some changes. So, let me introduce you to the new student that will be with us for the rest of the year." As Aizawa told him to come in, and the person that enters the class was the same purple-haired and purple-eyed kid that declared war on Midoriya. As Aizawa said, "Hitoshi Shinso from Class C will gonna be with us for the rest of the year. He was the only one from any other courses beside the hero course to make it into the finals. Thus, he is the most worthy to be in the hero course." As, Shinso said, "Hello everybody, my name is Hitoshi Shinso. It's really amazing to be here with you. I'll try to be a good student and a good friend." As he stares into Midoriya before, Aizawa said, "Make your way into your desk." As Shinso just sits on Shoto's desk. And after that, Aizawa said, "Alright, now the sport festival wasn't just for entertainment purposes. It was also to let the world see your abilities, to let the heroes see your abilities, and for them to be able to send you internships, to help you have an actual experience out on the field." As he started explaining, and in the end he showed the chore board of everybody who got the internships. Midoriya got a lot, at least that before what he did to Todoroki, because now you only have a handful of internships. Aizawa told them that everybody need to choose an internship by the end of tomorrow. And before that, Midnight said, "Alright, let's break this gloomy mood. All of you, you know what time it is? You can't do hero work without hero names." As immediately she said, "Now, one by one, you'll choose a hero name and I will gonna tell you if that name is good or bad." As they start doing it, first was Froppy with her name Froppy, and the rest start following. Ida tried to, use the name Ingenium, but his brother, he couldn't let himself do it. Bago tried to go with Lord Explosion, Murder, Dynamite, something like that, and when the turn came to Midoriya, Izuku couldn't think of a name. But for now, he just wrote something like Whisperer. Izuku chose the name Whisperer. As Midnight said, "You sure about it?" As Izuku said, "It's just temporary." As Aizawa said, "Alright, next." As Izuku goes sitting in his, seat, next is Shinso, which he still wasn't ready to make a hero name, so for now he'll just gonna go with Shinso. In the end, everybody leave their class to think about their internships. And right now Izuku in the cafeteria, sitting alone. Literally alone. Nobody's sitting with him. Izuku started feeling something inside his clothes, like something very itchy. As after a while, something comes out of his shirt, being the bird that he was going to kick out of his room last night. Just looking into Midoriya on the table as he looks at, what are you doing here? As this one gonna leave it off, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe. I know when I'm an asshole, but you know what you got yourself into when you subscribe to me. Anyway, bye.